Aloha!
Aloha,
My name is Krista Lakshmi-Detten,
and I'm Michael Ditton.
and we are Infinite,
Activation,
coming to you from.
Southern California.
Today, we are going to talk about divine masculinity or masculine.
What's that?
We will talk about it now.
Just kidding.
Yeah. So, I did some research and then I found out that, wow, this is the topic which is very dear to our hearts, and we talk quite a bit about it, but we haven't really done an episode about it. So,
Well, then it's long overdue.
yeah, so we'll do one about divine masculinity and then we do one about divine femininity. So
What's that?
that's the opposite. So when we talk about divine masculinity, so divine means it's connected to the higher power, it's connected to the consciousness. So here we talk about masculine powers or energies or consciousness, which is connected to the divine. So everything that energy is doing, which is actually present not only in men, but also in women.
Mhm.
So it will act and express itself in certain ways. And now we will share with you some of the examples and pointers how you can start to work with it. And then we add our task sheet as usual. But when someone says or asks you, Michael, like what is divine masculinity or masculine, what would you say? What's your definition?
Well, the divine masculine is, well, for me, it's the space holder, and he kind of creates the container for the divine feminine, for the inner woman, inner child, basically.
To unfold.
To unfold and allow to be fully present in a safe, secure environment. Also, he is the strength, but of course, the divine feminine and her full power is also the strength. So it is, it's a relationship that takes more than just one. And that's kind of where that alignment comes in. But that divine masculine is, to me, it's that space holder, and the one that is there doing the container and providing the support and the strength for the others.
Mm-hmm. So Michael just mentioned one really important part, which is space holding, and so many people don't really understand what that is. When I started to assist several tantra teachers, I also didn't really know what that meant. Came out that I was also pretty natural in space holding during classes or whatever was going on. But some people, especially men, they have to actually study it and practice it. I saw some men who had been to tantra classes for like 10 years or more and still had not really got it. So I also sense that there is always a connection also where a person is coming from, how their background has been, what their childhood was. Because if the little boy, for example, has not got that idea what divine masculine is or has not seen the role models, then they don't know how to hold space. And holding space is very important, as Michael mentioned. It's also making everyone who is in that space very safe
And secure.
that they can really unfold, like
Express themselves.
whatever is coming is okay and it's safe to do that. So, and it was so amazing to see when we went to Estonia first time to do the Tantra festival, then it happened so naturally for you to do that. And people actually came back and commented that as well and complimented you on that.
Yeah, I've actually unknowingly been doing it my whole life. It wasn't until, it became more part of my life and part of my world that I realized that it was a gift that I had to give. But I have been doing it my whole life.
So what would you as a man say how to develop it further so it become more natural and more integrated for a man especially? Because men are built a little differently, so the natural, like maybe impulse is to do something different, to start to fix things and whatever.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not about fixing. Sometimes it's simply about listening and allowing somebody to be heard. Um, and that's probably the biggest thing. And maybe that's why I was successful in sales as well, because I allow myself to really be present in listening to what somebody else was saying to me and understand where it was that they were coming from, their point of view. And some cases, a response might be required, but in many cases, just the mere fact that somebody was listening and providing that space without any comment, criticism, comments, or constructive criticism, whatever it might be. Sometimes, and that's difficult to do. Sometimes you feel as if you need to give somebody some type of input. And, if you're uncertain, you can actually ask, would you like me to share, what I observe, or would you like me to share my thoughts? Or would you like me just to sit here and hear you out and let you share with me or vent or whatever it might be? And that caring and that compassion is actually, it becomes multifold when you do it that way, because sometimes if you share with somebody something that they really don't want you to share with them, it can make the situation worse. So hear them out, be caring, compassionate, be present. Maybe if they want it, maybe you could ask up front. Maybe if you're not certain, you can ask at the end. Just see if they would like your opinion or would like what you've observed. If so, share it. If not, just let them be. Let them allow them to share it with you in that safe space.
Very good tips. And the second really big part of the divine masculine, I personally feel, is it has that capacity and also drive to be that force which is giving things form. So if I come to you and say, hey, like last year, let's make this event happen. So that was an idea. So I came to you as a woman, as usually also a woman is the representative of ideas and water and air element. So I came to you, and then you kind of stopped and said, like, okay, so what do we need to do to make it happen? And then we took the physical steps to send the information, write the event text, of course, and then what time, where, how much does it cost, how do we prepare the room, and then what do we actually do? So what processes are what we go through. Yeah. And then we did it.
Yeah. So it was the support, but it was also to help with the structure to make it happen.
And this is so many times we see when people have that idea, and that's the dynamic of the masculine and feminine, where the impulse is coming and it's amazing, and you could like not only build something big out of it, maybe even an empire, but most people, they don't run with it. They don't implement and include the divine masculine, and it will just fall, and no one will manifest anything.
And I'm sure we'll talk about it when we talk about the divine feminine, but part of that divine feminine is that intuition. You hear it and take action on it. And of course, part of that taking action is to share either with the divine masculine or outside or within, and allow that to manifest. So don't suppress an intuition or a feeling because you're concerned what somebody else will think, or you don't think it's anything at all. In fact, when Crystal and I met, I had made it a habit my whole life to not necessarily always pay attention to that intuition. Now, I've always been pretty blessed with being able to understand it, receive it, in some cases use it to work for my benefit or to protect me from something that's happening. But in the case of meeting Crystal, on that particular day, when I felt her presence, that was an intuition that I felt. And we hadn't met. In fact, we hadn't even looked each other in the eye, but she was close enough to me that I felt her presence. And like I'd done many times before, I actually suppressed that and didn't pay attention to it. And fortunately, the universe was kind enough to allow us to come in the same space a little while later. And we were introduced by a mutual friend. And I realized at that moment when we were looking at each other eye to eye, that feeling I had not too long before was actually her. And it was like, oh my God, this is something I felt not too long ago. And I didn't pay close enough attention to it. And fortunately, the universe was on my side and put us back in the same space. Otherwise, who knows? I mean,
So basically, what you did there also, what is very divinely masculine, is take action.
yeah,
So in order to follow that, you took action, and then here we are, married and all.
here we are.
So really cool. So to talk about two elements which represent the divine masculine, one is earth and one is fire. And earth itself is not only that it's about grounding, but it's also, as we said, to create this form, whatever we are talking about. And fire is, it's this life force. Also, when we take like a regular man, they have to transfer the life force into the woman also when you want to create another baby, for example. So it's a connection, it's the activation code to keep it all going and sustainably kind of repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
So as a man, if a man is not grounded and also not working, maybe not taking care of their body and taking care of that part of like taking action and formalizing and having systems and structures in their life in order, then things will be really in chaos. And you, Michael, are really good. I call you master king planner, and structures and sheets and everything, like Excel sheets are your, like, you're so good.
Yeah, sometimes a little too much, but it helps me see the whole picture.
Yeah. And it's also when you do it, as you recommend me always to, when you do it a little bit of all the time, then it helps to keep the whole structure in place all the time.
Yeah,
You don't overwhelm yourself.
right, because if you need to do something and you only do it every once in a while, it's going to take more effort to do it, and you won't actually have the rewards along the way. So if it, some people look at it as, oh, it's an inconvenience to do it more regularly. Well, I look at it just the opposite. It's easier for me if I do it more regularly because I know what a challenge it is going to be if I don't do it more regularly. Plus, there are small wins I can take from looking at it on a more common, more I lost my word, more regularly. There was another word I was completely lost. But anyhow, by looking at it more regularly, I can take away a lot of positive things. So for me, it makes more sense to do it that way.
Yeah, and it's also when you take like building a house, you have it, once you get it in place, you also do maintenance to keep it in place. So
Mhm.
that's what those structures and systems are, whether it's time management or budget or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
Here's an example. Anybody that's ever had to deal with taxes at the end of the year, if you don't do anything all year long, and tax time comes, if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. You're scrambling to get receipts and go back through old documents and pull up as much stuff as you can. And of course, sometimes it's 12 months have gone by and it's not as clear in your head or whatever the case might be. Whereas if you took a monthly, a ritual to, on the first or last day of the month, do something to make that job easier, 12 months down the road, 11 months down the road, 9 months down the road, whatever it is, when that time comes, you're going to be very grateful for it. And that's, it took me a long time to do that, but, nowadays, and
it's a new habit.
well, it's always been a habit. I just do it a little differently now than I've done before because I've learned what works better. And of course, you have to learn what works for you. But for me, I'd much rather spend a few minutes once a month than pull my hair out at the end of the year with stuff scattered all over the floor, trying to figure out what's what and know that I've lost half the stuff. And now I have 12 individual packs, for each month, and a common sheet in each pack, and I know exactly what's going on. So it makes life a whole lot easier.
Yeah. And one last point which I want to bring out here is that divine masculine is the one who is protector. The divine masculine energy never hurts. And this took me very many years to understand that if I'm around with men who hurt me, that these are not the men I should be around. And also, if you come from that background where that has been a norm, you don't almost think that it's like a weird or not like a okay thing. So if there are other people here watching this and they are in similar situations, so divine masculine is someone or something which is always in a protective mode and takes care that everyone is safe and everyone is good. So whenever we go somewhere with Michael and we have more people, you always take care and check that everyone is safe, everyone is like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so natural to you. You don't even probably think that that's like something weird.
It is natural to me, and actually I get great pleasure from doing that because I want to make sure that everybody is, happy, healthy, and safe to the best of my ability. And if I see something that might be otherwise, I'll do what I can to help.
Yeah. So we'll put a little list with questions and you can go through these and reflect, give yourself a time to self-reflect. And doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, because each one of us has that divine masculine aspect inside. And better in connection and better friend you are with your divine masculine, better you will be also with everything else, also connection with divine feminine. And the number one key thing, what's divine masculine's purpose itself, is to manifest the dreams of the divine feminine or that inner child energy. Because if he can't do that, then there will be nothing to create from, because that's where the ideas and the invisible stuff comes from. So there is a bit of dynamic which we will talk about in the final integration video about this topic. But for now, go to that list, go through it, and I hope you have fun and take the steps necessary to work with the topic even more. Yeah. So thank you for today. Please like, share, and subscribe, and see you next time.
Mahalo.
Mahalo.